Hey, I'm Mish.
And I'm Wit.
And we are back with How We Flow, y'all. This is
This is How We
episode
Flow.
4, right?
This is episode 4.
Alright, yeah, we're back.
Bond so tight, for you I'll fight. I always got your back and that's no lie. And in the end, we care and we share. Family love until the end of time. This is how we flow. Oh, how we flow. How we flow. Oh, how we flow, flow, flow.
What are we talking about today?
Well, let's talk about the fact that you gave me coffee and not wine.
Because I was sleepy. And so I
Because
said, babe, do you want coffee or wine? She said, surprise me. It was just easier for me to make us both coffee.
It's like 50,000 degrees outside.
Outside, but we're inside.
Okay, whatever. So anyway, today we are talking about our children. Because, alright, we have 5 kids, 4 in the house. We both, of course, own our own companies. See the mugs of our companies.
Yeah, see?
Doo-doo.
Marketing ourselves.
Marketing ourselves.
Business 101.
Yeah. And we have 4 dogs.
Yeah.
They are a pretty sizable house.
We used to have a lot of fish too, but we killed them all.
What? Yeah. Dang, dang. Yeah,
I mean, they all died.
they did all that. Ziama's turtle, we let go into the wild.
Yeah, but no, we had fish
Yeah. So
after the turtle.
I used to tell people, yo, I had 5 kids, 4 dogs,
I think we had 6 fish,
6 fish.
2 turtles at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like Wild Kingdom in this house. Jesus. So people ask us all the time how we do it because our kids that most people know are in a band called TRK.
Yep, go follow them.
Go
on
follow
YouTube,
them.
Instagram.
Get their new single.
Facebook.
Boo, boo,
Bad
boo,
for
boo.
you. It's on all platforms, so you know we had to do a shameless plug.
You know, they're our kids. What do you want to do? But like when people see us out and about or they know that we're doing business and then we go, yeah, we have 5 kids. People go, what? How do y'all do that? How do y'all do 5 kids and all the stuff that you do? So we want to talk about how we kind of balance and how we had to find our balance because that took a minute too.
Yeah, and so this is different from our raising children episode. You know, that spoke more to how we handled different situations with the kids, how our parenting styles were different, and how we merged those once we became a couple. So this one's going to be more specific to, I guess,
Entrepreneurial, it should be this.
that, and then the relationships, the individual relationships we've had to learn to cultivate with each of our children, because as anybody with multiples know, you cannot do for one. Every child is different.
Every kid.
And so how
They all
you
have their own
respond to
personality.
them and how they respond to you has to correlate. And so you can't necessarily, I guess, say discipline one the way that you would discipline another.
That's true.
Because let's say, I mean, we might as well just go into it. We have some kids that need a good old spanking every couple of months. And then we have one that doesn't need a spanking ever. All you gotta do is yell at him. And that's the worst punishment ever in life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then because we are very busy and our children are not, are extremely busy as well, not just because of their band, but because they are in band at school, they're in plays, they're in basketball, they're in this. So we had to learn how to juggle our entrepreneurial goals and our relationship and the children all at the same time. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it wasn't a struggle. We've had some very, very colorful conversations loudly about how to juggle those things. So we kind of started that in the beginning of our relationship, where we were trying to learn how to juggle these little babies and all the things that they needed, doctor's appointments and school things and the little stuff like they singing and dancing at school and things like that. And we had to juggle our businesses and going to work and things like that with all the things that we do. So we don't have a, like, you know how you see those people on TV who have like those little pegboards and have a schedule and shit like that. Nah, we not them people. That is not how we did it at all.
Yeah, we're not those. We just wing it. Truthfully, we just wing it.
I think we do more than wing it, babe.
No, we plan maybe accordingly to the week, but not necessarily that far in advance, unless once they get into the extracurricular activities, we know, let's say Ziana is in basketball, so we knew that Tuesdays and Thursdays of every week, that was basketball games. Now that would change sometimes depending on what she was playing, what team she was playing for, so sometimes it was Mondays. And then let's say Simeon is in marching band, so Simeon, whether he had a pep rally or he had a band competition, and even outside of marching band, now both Simeon and Ziana are in marching band, but Ziana's in basketball, and then Simeon is also in, he was in jazz band last year, and Ziana was in orchestra. So on top of the band activities, we have orchestra things. And I remember last year, Ziana had 2 basketball games, and Simeon had a band performance. So we went to her game first at 6 o'clock, and we left her game at 6:45 to get to his school by 7 to see him, and then we went directly after his concert and went back to her second game.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a lot, but the joy on his face
was extreme.
You know, he was so excited that we actually made it, and then Ziana, the fact that we made both games, you know, and we try as much as possible to both
accommodate.
be there.
We do. I think that we had to learn some things. We learned a lot from our children too, on what they felt was important. I remember being a kid and my mom didn't really show up to most of my band performance. Well, when I marched, with concert bands, things like that, she was there. But I marched all throughout high school, and I think she only came to like two or three games. And something that Simeon said to us last year is that, you know, I don't, you know, I'm already in trouble from last week, so it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But like with Simeon and band and marching, I don't think we did take it as serious as he wanted us to, because, you know, we're like, it's band, you know, we see you march, we're not gonna go to every football game to watch you march. But then he said, but you have never missed one of Ziana's basketball games. And of course I'm like, but it's basketball and she's on the team, you know, on the football team, you're in the band, and you know. And so he looked at me like, how dare you, especially since I was in the band. I've been in, you know, in music and in band since I was 8 years old. So he looked at me like, how dare you think like that? And I guess because I'm so like traditional sports minded that I didn't look at it the way that he wanted us to look at it. And so, but I will say that since he did voice his opinion, as Simeon does, we did what we could do for him. And I think that's where the balance comes in. A lot of times people don't listen to their kids, and they just go based on what their needs. Or you have some parents who listen way too much to their kids, and then they don't have a healthy balance for the things that they need to do in their life. And I think we kind of, once we got ourselves together, because I was the workaholic. I was at regular work, and then I was opening up my company. And Misha looked at me like, but when you're here, you're not here, you're not present. And I heard that a lot over the years. And so I had to make some adjustments with what my entrepreneurial goals were and being with my family. Excuse me. Now, does everybody have that luxury? No, and I get that. I understand that. But it wasn't as if Misha was not being supportive with my entrepreneurial goals, but she was just like, you have to be here for the kids too, and for me. And still, you have to have that balance. And so I did a lot of things that I just kind of did on my own without having conversations about it. And so I think once we started having conversations about our desires and our children's desires, we started to understand each other, and the kids started to understand things more often too, because then it was like, it's not that I'm not there. You know?
I think that's accurate. And one of the other things that really helped her focus on more so on the kids and on me was we took the office out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
I am not that advocate for in-home offices. It just makes it more prone for you to work and not pay attention. Now, if you absolutely have to, if you have a remote job and you work from home, then great. But she had a whole, at that time, 2,500 square foot office. And we still had an office here in the house. And so it just didn't make sense. And so the home became the safe haven. And it became the safe place where, yeah, we would work occasionally, laptops and things. And I was still in school at that time. But, you know, working off the laptops and doing things here and there. But it stopped her from having clients come through my door at 9 o'clock or at dinner time or whatever else.
Yeah.
And it just gave her more attention, gave her the ability to have more attention on us. But let's talk about a little bit about each child and how we deal with or how we react or how our relationships with each child.
Well, I learned this from my grandmother. My grandparents, my grandmother and my grandfather had 10 children. And with my 10 aunts and uncles, I got to hear about each relationship that they had with my grandmother and my grandfather. And all of their relationship with them was different. And what they did with them was different. And I used to express that to you all the time. And so I wanted to adopt that, you know. And then Misha, oh my God, when we first got together, the things that she did for the children and in your nature of just like making sure that they were in and had everything that they needed in this, even the stuff that they didn't need, you know, you just was so there. And I look to my grandparents, my mom, and then just how you work with the children to adopt some type of parenting style. But I wanted that what my grandparents did because they had 10 kids and all 10 kids felt special. And at that time we only had 4, and only 3 in the house. So it was trying to make sure that each one of them have a different type of relationship. Now, of course, we taught them all the same type of things, but we wanted to make sure that they had different relationships with each one of us. So, like, when we took them to the doctor,
we would take them to the doctor, and we tried to make each doctor visit a special day, so they knew if they had a doctor's appointment, then they're going, depending on the time, breakfast or lunch was with Mom and Nene, and then they would go to school late, or they would get picked up early, and they knew that they had that window of time for just them. Sometimes we would get their appointments all together, but more often than not, because there were so many of them all at one time, we had to split them up. And so sometimes it would be the girls, sometimes it would be the boys, depending on the situation. Sometimes it would be a single visit. And so they knew, and they still know to this day, that if they have appointments that we're gonna go probably to eat, we might end up at the mall, and we will have taken care of whatever business it is for that day.
Yeah, so they kind of look forward to doctor's appointments, especially on those days they had to get shots and stuff. They're like, oh, but at least I get to go. And we would always go to some restaurant that they've never been to. And so they can go, kind of go back and go, I went here with Mommy and Nene, and I went there. And then, like, for myself and, like, Simeon and I can go work out together, and we can just take a drive together, and we can talk and philosophize all we want to without getting in trouble. He's not running. He's like my road trip running buddy. So like, if I had to go like an hour or so out of town for like business, I would, Simeon would dress up in a suit because that boy loved to dress, and he would come with me, and we would just, he would just get to see that side. And that's what that boy said, I don't need to own a business. And then there's my Z. That's my hanging buddy. That's my game player. That's my, we could talk stuff and watch sports and kind of hang out, together. And she tried to steal all my shoes. that's just not. That's not. And then there's my princess. And the funny thing about my princess is we talk a lot.
Yes.
We just talk. I ask her things, and I think it's very important, especially for young girls, you know, just to know that they can talk about anything without, I'm not going to say without consequence, but I would ask her how her day was, and understand that I was a little girl too. And I knew how the mean girl was, or the this was, or the that was. And so I think with the two of us, we were able to see those signs and be able to like actually really talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that, so that's like our relationships, kind of with the kids, and then with you is with you and Imani. That relationship is so hilarious because Imani picks on you.
Imani does pick on me.
But she's so you.
Imani picks on me, but she was my first girl, so she was the one that I experimented all the hairstyles with. I dressed up all the time. She was my road dog when she was a baby. You know, she was 1, 2, 3. I took her to all the modeling calls. She did all of that. You know, she was always up underneath me. And I guess that's kind of the nature of our relationship, because she'll still be up underneath me.
She is,
but she's worrisome, and then she likes to pick on me, and all the kids like to pick on me. I'm the one they pick on. I don't know why.
Yeah, you are the easy target.
But they all pick on me, so that's, you know, Imani is my little diva. She likes to teach me stuff, because, you know, I don't know nothing about putting on eyelashes, and she'll try to teach me that. She'll teach me makeup tips and all of that, so she does that. But then I'm also the person that she calls while she's at school, and she'll just like to sit on the phone with me for hours at a time, and I'm like, girl, I have stuff to do. Do you? Why are you calling me? And we just want to, like, she wants to just sit and hang like she does with her girlfriends and whoever else. She just likes to sit on the phone and just listen. And so that's the nature of our relationship. That was Imani. And let's talk about Duty, because she's sitting right here. And Zizi is my TV buddy. Lately we've been watching The Cosby Show, and so that is our show, and whatever else. And she's just the baby. She's always been just the baby girl. So she knows I'm coming. She knows that whatever event she has, whatever schedule she has, I'm working with it. You know, I'm gonna make sure that somebody is available, and that's with all of them. But I think Ziana and Simeon know I'm coming regardless. Even if I tell them I'm not coming,
they can pretty much bank that you're still coming.
Yeah. And Zizi, she'll come every once in a while. She tries to steal my shoes, but mine don't interest her as much as Wit's.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't care about that, you know. And she's not my girly girl. She's my tomboy. So I can't dress her up like I used to when she was 2 and 3, because then she turned 5 and started having all this opinion about what she wanted to wear and what she wasn't gonna wear. Like, I can still get in a dress every once in a while, but it's very rare. But you know,
see, Ziana is very protective though.
Yes, she's extremely protective.
She's
quiet, but she is protective.
Very protective.
So she's my protector. So is Scooter. Scooter, he's the youngest, but there have been times, like when I was doing schoolwork, when I was still in school, and I would be back on the back porch or back patio and sitting out there working, and Scooter one time told me, Mom, I'm not going in the house. You need to come in. I said, no, son, I can't come in. Well, I'm going to sit out here with you because you can't be out here by yourself. What? Boy, he was 5 then. Like, Scoot. And so Scoot is my protector, but he's also still so much of a baby. But he's growing up. He is growing up and has a lot more wherewithal and a lot more knowledge than we even expect. I think he says some of the craziest things. Who is calling me? Why is Imani FaceTiming me and she knows we're recording? That's the perfect example. She's FaceTiming me and she knows we're recording, but
that's because more than likely my princess probably needs your help and she doesn't know how to do it by herself, so she calls you.
I understand that, but her sister told her that we were
Leave my,
recording.
but leave my princess alone.
And then there's Simeon. What is the relationship that Simeon and I have? He knows I'm coming. I'm the person he calls when he really shouldn't be calling asking for stuff, but he's gonna do it anyway because he knows that I'm a sucker and that he's gonna get what he wants.
Amen.
Simeon he was the one that was most attached at my hip from when he was born until he was about 3. He was the most attached, but he is the one. He likes to pick on me now that he's tall and I'm old to him and I know nothing. But he is also very protective. So yeah, Simeon and I, we're close. He knows that he gets away with me with a lot more than he should, but as he's getting older, I'm trying to crack down because
You're failing at that.
I am not failing. Don't tell these people I fail.
You failing, cracking down and
I am cracking down on Simeon. I'm not going to go into specifics because that's his business, but I am. But I think like Whit said, we have a great relationship with all of the kids. Well, with at least our youngest 4.
And we actually
we
did do another episode on our oldest. I just didn't think it was time to put that one out yet.
Yeah, no, that'll probably be a 2 episode event because it's so long. But I think that we're doing as good as can be expected. There's no such thing as perfect parents, and we have learned a lot along the way. Our oldest will be 19 at the end of this month, and then our youngest is 9.
So I got a question, right?
Okay.
What would you give advice to either new parents or parents of multiples on how to make sure that each individual kid feels important?
One thing that I wish I had done more of when they were younger is having more conversations with them. You've always been good at having conversations. I'm quiet.
Right, true.
I'm just now getting to a point where I can talk to people and have conversations, and I try not to keep my thoughts in my head now, and I try to let them out. That wasn't always the case.
Okay.
So I think if I could go back, or if I can tell anybody anything, it would be, and there's going to be some people that don't agree with me, but children have feelings. And everything can't be just because I said so.
Right.
It can't be that way because they are entitled to their feelings. And you may not agree with it, but at least take the opportunity to listen to what they have to say and act from what they say. And just because they may not agree with something or they have a question doesn't necessarily mean it's disrespectful. The manner in which they do it can be disrespectful, and then sometimes it could just be it's a legitimate question. So I would say take the time to have individual conversations on a frequent basis with each child if you have multiples. Do what we do, try to have something that we do separately with each of them so that they can say, well, mom did this for me, or dad did this for me, or grandma did this for me, or whoever is in the child's life. Just making sure that those relationships are obvious and cultivated, so that when they become adults, they can still feel comfortable to call you, because Imani just turned 18 and she's still calling us because she don't know nothing, and that feels good that she's not out here trying to adult by herself.
I dig that.
What about you?
I don't know exactly what I would do 100% like differently when it comes to each one of them individually. I think for me it's more, I don't know. I think you kind of like hit the nail on the head when you're talking about like making sure that you're having, conversations with them and allowing them to have feelings. That allowing the kids to have their feelings and have their feelings validated. And like as we get older, I'm a kid. We have parents, and there's relationships that we should have with as adults with our parents, and we have a child going into adulthood, and I want to still have certain things that I have with her as she becomes an adult. So I want to get to know her as an adult and see where I fit in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not on the just, oh, I'm giving you advice and I'm still showing you the way or anything of that nature. But, you know, as she get older, she may say, hey, I'd like gardening. What do you know about that? And then that could be our thing.
Yeah.
So I think as parents, we have to realize that it does not stop because they're 18. It needs to continue on forever until we're not here anymore. Having that special thing with your child, and it, you know, what they liked at 2 is not going to be what they liked at 5, what they liked at 10, 15, 25, and 35. So just continuing to grow with your kids, just like you grow with any other relationship. They have feelings too.
And I agree with that. And we can end on this, but it's really cool for me that my family likes watching the Cosby Show. And regardless of what your feelings are on Bill Cosby, I am a firm believer that that show was the epitome of what a black family should be. And to see how they interacted, even you know, I know these are fictitious characters, but how the children, once they became adults, still came home and hung out with their parents and still sat around for dinners and stuff. That's how I envision us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
I would like for our kids to like us.
Yeah, I want them to come. And
I want them to come home and say, "Hey."
I want them to come home from college and raid my refrigerator and bring their laundry home and just walk
and have
in
their
the house
friends
and
come over.
And,
yeah,
that's what I envision, and I think that we are cultivating that. And I hope that they know how much it is important to us that they like us. You know, because I know that they respect us, but I want them to like us too. And, you know, parents, they don't, especially us, we're not allowed to say that we want our kids to like us. But we do. We want our children to like us. Yeah. In addition to them respecting us and to listening to us. And, you know, some of them are teenagers, so sometimes them listening to what we have to say is a little iffy. But I think that we both are confident that when they become adults, that the things that we've taught them will start to kick in.
I think so.
What you think?
Yeah, I mean, I believe we're doing a pretty dang good job, if I don't say so.
At least people tell us this all the time.
Yeah, well,
people who don't even know us as, you know, as you guys are getting to know us, tell us that our kids are great. So I guess that's a good compliment, that's confirmation that we're doing something right.
Yep. So I think if anyone gonna take anything away from this conversation is talk to your kids, man. Know that they have feelings. Know that they need to be guided and to be loved.
Yeah.
And find a common ground with them so that they know that you're really there. You know, we provide. You know, that's one of the things, especially in the black culture. Yeah. We talk about, oh, the lights on, the water on, the gas on, the this on. Boy, you fine.
Right.
But, you know, talk to them, man. You know, unfortunately, some of us are losing our kids.
Yeah.
And we're losing them because we're not talking to them. We got to find out what they like and dislike. Somebody might have hurt their feelings. We can't just tell them to buck up and it's okay. You know, we have to sit down and have real conversations. Love on them in your way. You know what I mean? Everybody not hug, kissy, feely parents, I understand that. But love on them in your way. Love on them in the way that they need to be loved. Talk to them. All right?
Yep. That's about it.
This is how we flow, baby.
Episode 4. Till next week. See y'all later.
Bye.
Bond so tight, for you I'll fight. I always got your back and that's no lie. And in the end, we care and we share. Friendly love until the end of time. This is how we flow. Oh, how we flow.